All right, welcome to part 2 of the syllabus explanation. Course values and objectives. This course values the importance of reading and writing in our lives. It understands that for a person to be critically engaged with their community and the world at large, they should be able to read and write well. It understands that power is granted to those who possess knowledge and the ability to think critically, and that education is a viable and important avenue for a person to take in order to improve the conditions of their life. This course also values curiosity, the potential for learning presented by confusion and failure, and the importance of deep learning and understanding over the simple memorization of facts and information in order to collect points for a grade. So to elaborate just briefly on this, one phrase that you'll hear me use this semester is to embrace confusion, meaning we go toward it and we wrap ourselves around the things that confuse us. Now that goes against human nature. People don't like to be confused, and one natural response to confusion or things that confuse us is to shy away from them, to retreat from them, to reject them, right? But when we do that, we're not learning because we're not seeking to understand those things more fully, right? But when we go toward the things that confuse us, when we actively seek to understand them, that's when we learn. So that's a phrase that you'll hear me use quite a bit this semester, embrace confusion. Another one that you'll hear me use is contend with complexity. That's something that Miller and Jurecic, the authors of Habits of the Creative Mind, will talk about. Let's continue on here. Course communication. So this is just a brief rundown of the ways that you can communicate with me and how I'll communicate with you and how you will communicate with your classmates. So announcements. I will post regular announcements to our Canvas homepage with important information regarding the readings, projects, and activities for each week. Students are responsible for logging into Canvas on a frequent basis to view these announcements. Now, oftentimes I'll send out a message to the class on Canvas announcing that I've made an announcement, but that should be something that you'll want to seek out yourself. You know, if you notice that there's a new announcement, then to read it, check it out, because it'll often include very important information that gives you a better understanding of how to approach the various activities for the week. Messages and email. While I will check my campus email on a regular basis, students are encouraged to use the message feature in Canvas to contact me. In either case, students should compose their messages or emails in such a way that reflects their rhetorical situation. Provide a clear subject, an appropriate greeting, and a closing signature. If you want your message or emails to be taken seriously, then you too must compose them seriously. So this should go without saying, but here I am saying it. Now, I'm your professor. I'm generally a pretty friendly person, but I'm still your professor, so I expect students to message me or email me with that in mind. That's what we mean by rhetorical situation. Who is your audience? It's not your best friend. It's not your grandma. It's your professor for English class, right? So pay close attention to that, to how you compose your messages to me. So in order to do that, one thing is to provide a clear subject. So whether that's an email or message on Canvas, give me a subject, what the message entails. An appropriate greeting is important. So, dear Professor Leis, I hope you're having a great day. And then go into whatever it is that you're wanting to express in that message. And then offer a closing signature, sincerely so-and-so, right? So again, if you want your messages to be taken seriously, then you yourself should take them seriously. But so that's one of the modes of communication. Now, personally, I prefer messages on Canvas just because I'm logged into Canvas more often than I am my campus email address. But like I said, I check my email address as well on a regular basis. Questions. General questions regarding course content, projects, and activities should be posted to the questions discussion board. This will benefit all members of our learning community just as it would in a face-to-face classroom environment. Questions pertaining to more personal or specific matters should be asked using the message feature in Canvas. So if it's a general question about an assignment or about something we're doing in the class that pertains to many people, it's not just something very specific to your own project or whatever the case is, then pose that question in the questions discussion board. So you can find that by clicking discussion boards or discussions in the Canvas page, and you'll see one that says questions. Because if you have a question about something general, that might pertain to other people, and so the class can benefit from that. Now, if it's something more personal or more specific to your own work, then that's where it's appropriate to send me a message on Canvas or send me an email. Right? Discussion board. So this is another mode of communication. To ensure a certain level of participation and interaction among the members of our learning community, we will have weekly discussion boards where students will post in response to specific prompts. Students will also reply to at least 2 other colleagues in each discussion board, or in some cases it might be 3. Each discussion board prompt contains specific instructions on how to compose your response. So the very first discussion board post is your student introduction, right? So you are addressing the different questions or items in that prompt and introducing yourself to the class, and then you're responding to some of your colleagues. Now, in the discussion boards, I will participate a little bit where I see appropriate, but generally speaking, it's going to largely be between your fellow members in the class. But I'm always reading the discussions, and in some cases, I'll participate. Optional synchronous meetings, or virtual office hours, as they may be called. So every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m., I will hold an optional synchronous meeting on Zoom where students may ask me questions and interact with fellow members of our learning community in real time. So this component is important. I understand that an online class can feel a little lonely or disconnected, right? Because we don't have that regular interaction that we would get in a normal classroom setting. So one way to kind of help with that, and also for you to connect more with me in the class generally, is these optional synchronous meetings or virtual office hours. So if you can attend them, or you have interest in interacting with me in real time or your fellow members in real time, then that would be something for you to pay attention to. Feedback and responses. I will be active on Canvas Monday through Friday during our session, so during the fall semester, which means I will check my emails, messages, and the various discussion boards regularly between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. If you send me a message, you can expect a reply within 24 to 48 hours, unless it is a Saturday or Sunday, in which case you can expect a reply the following Monday. If a message or email is sent after 5 p.m., students should not expect a reply until the following morning. Feedback on projects and activities will be provided on an ongoing basis, but please allow more time for larger projects such as major essay projects. So generally speaking, Monday through Friday, I'll be active on Canvas between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So if you have a question between those hours and you send me a message on Canvas, I'll generally respond pretty quickly, within an hour usually. However, if you do send a message after 5, don't expect a reply until the following morning, so that's something you're going to want to pay attention to, especially if it's pertaining to an upcoming deadline. So you're going to have to plan ahead in some instances. I'm generally not active on Canvas over the weekends. However, sometimes I might pop in just to check on things, but generally I'm not. So if you do send me a message over the weekend, just don't expect a reply until the following Monday. Sometimes I might respond, but don't expect a response until the Monday that follows. Participation. Participation in an online course is just as important as it is in a face-to-face course. Even though our class is asynchronous, it is important that each student maintains a consistent level of participation each week if they wish to succeed in the course. Students are expected to log into Canvas multiple times a week, at least once daily, Monday through Friday. They're expected to engage in our weekly discussion boards, composing their responses thoughtfully and thoroughly, and they are expected to complete projects and activities thoroughly and submit them on time. If students have not been logging into Canvas regularly, actively participating in our weekly discussion boards, or completing and submitting projects and activities on time, they may be dropped from the course for inadequate participation. So you'll see in other instances a phrase active participation or participating actively. That's what I mean by this. Participating actively, it means that you're actively engaging with the course, right? So you're logging in on a regular and frequent basis, you're submitting your work on time, you're participating in the discussion boards according to the guidelines and the rubric for discussion boards. It's clear that you're actually engaged with the course. If you're not really logging in all that often, if you're missing work, you're not submitting activities, or you're not really participating in the discussion boards, then you're not adequately participating. And in some instances, depending on how inadequate the participation is, you might be dropped from the course. So it's important that you're engaged with the course, you're staying connected, and I'll do my best to help people stay connected. So if I notice that somebody might be slipping on their participation, I'm going to address that to them. So okay, let's go ahead and end this video just to kind of break it up a little bit. So stay tuned for part 3